It was one of the most shocking celebrity marriages in the history of American entertainment. A rock legend. A pop icon. Two of the biggest names of the 1970s, colliding in a love story so explosive, so passionate, and so completely chaotic that the entire country could not look away. But what really happened between Cher and Gregg Allman? Why did one of Hollywood's most talked about couples fall apart so spectacularly? The real reason is darker, sadder, and far more complicated than anything the tabloids ever told you. When Cher and Gregg Allman married in 1975, just 3 days after her divorce from Sonny Bono was finalized, the world was stunned. Here was Cher, the glamorous, untouchable queen of American entertainment, choosing a southern rock musician with long hair, a whiskey drawl, and a lifestyle that existed in a completely different universe from hers. The attraction was undeniable and immediate. But what Cher did not fully understand when she walked down that aisle was the true depth of the darkness she was walking into. Gregg Allman was a musical genius. The man behind Midnight Rider, Melissa, and one of the greatest southern rock catalogs ever recorded was also, by his own frank and painful admission, completely consumed by drug and alcohol addiction. Not casually. Not recreationally. Profoundly, destructively, and at a level that made a stable marriage almost impossible from the very first day. The erratic behavior was constant. The paranoia that came with the addiction made genuine intimacy impossible. Cher has described living with him as walking on eggshells, never knowing which version of Gregg was going to walk through the door. The man she had fallen in love with and the man addiction had turned him into were two entirely different people sharing the same body. Cher and Gregg Allman split and divorced after just 9 days of marriage, a record that made headlines around the world and turned their relationship into a punchline. But they reconciled. Because love, even when it is breaking you, is rarely simple enough to walk away from cleanly. They had a son together, Elijah Blue Allman, born in 1976. And for a while they tried again, genuinely and desperately, to make it work. But the addiction always won. The opposing lifestyles, Cher's disciplined, high-profile, controlled world versus Gregg's turbulent, substance-soaked existence, were simply too far apart to bridge. By 1978 it was permanently over. The divorce was finalized. The love story was closed. What makes this story genuinely heartbreaking is not the split itself. It is what Gregg Allman said about it decades later. He described Cher as the most real, most loyal, most honest person he had ever been with. He said she had tried harder than anyone to save him. He said the failure of the marriage was entirely his fault, that he had chosen the bottle and the drugs over the woman who loved him, and that was a choice he regretted for the rest of his life. He spent years in and out of recovery, lost friends, lost bandmates, and lost decades of his life to the addiction that had cost him everything. He passed away in May 2017 at the age of 69, finally clean, finally at peace, but gone far too soon. The real reason Cher and Gregg Allman split was not incompatibility. It was addiction. And the tragedy is that underneath all of it was a love story that, under different circumstances, might have been extraordinary.